get work.
Well, Stephen F. Austin, they were held to just 1 run on 3 hits in last night's series opener. Johnny Cardenas, 14th season, the Amarillo native, winningest coach in Lumberjack program history. Cameron Crawford was on base twice last night at the top of the order. Drew a walk, was hit by a pitch, but other than that, Andrew Devine set the tone in the early going, and Clark Beckel able to bring it home. Popped up shallow right field. Owen Washburn on his way in, and he makes the catch.
And that's a big first out there. Cameron Crawford had 2 stolen bases last night. He's already 9 for 10 in the stolen base department. Certainly want to get strike 1 and make him put it in play. The wind today, much nicer than it was here last night. Obviously, we had big winds blowing out of the southwest across from right to left. Today, the wind we have blowing straight out, maybe out to right center field. A little bit of a chill in the air, but boy, this is a big uptick from where we were last night.
Yeah, a lot of dust in the air last night. The flags are back up. That's always a good sign. A 2-ball, no strike count on Kyle Cullen. The Stephen F. Austin center fielder hitting .265 with 4 doubles, 6 RBIs. Super senior out of Burleson, Texas. And he sends a fly ball to right center field. Owen Washburn positioned perfectly. 2 outs.
Cullen squares that fastball up and rips it, but as you said, put it right on Wash out there in right field. A couple of steps to his right for the quick second out.
Fly ball is much less of an adventure this afternoon than what we saw last night. 2 outs pretty quickly. Austin Becker has induced a pair of fly balls to Owen Washburn in right field and now deals with Peyton Parker. Parker had 1 of the 3 hits, a double last night. Then he takes the breaking ball. Over the inside, it's quickly 0-2. Mentioned Becker appearing in his first game in 2 weeks. Fastball at 94 miles per hour. Got a lot of life on that pitch.
Got good feel for a change. We've already seen a couple good breaking balls from him.
That's tapped over his head. Kurt Wilson charges and will not have a play. Peyton Parker runs pretty well. Infield base hit with 2 outs for Stephen F. Austin.
And not much you can do about that once that ball chops over Becker's head, and Becker's big, tall right-hander. But even he didn't have a play there. Wilson doesn't try to do too much. He eats it. A little 2-out infield single. See if Austin Becker can pitch around that.
Well, Jake Zarello was quiet out of the 3 spot last night. Moves down to the cleanup spot today. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Was the designated hitter last night, starting catcher in this afternoon series finale. Senior from Miami. Got his start at Seminole State College in Florida. And he swings through the changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good looking delivery there from Becker. 1-0 pitch. Zarello's looking for a fastball that he can hit. Changeup drops in, and he is way out in front of that one.
In the air to center field. Sam Hunt makes the catch. And Austin against Sam Houston over the weekend. 4 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. Picked up the save. 0-1 record for the right-hander. Earned run average of 3.21. Opponents hitting .269 against the sophomore. And Gus, as always, it's going to be a tough task against this Red Raider bunch.
Yes, it will. Skylar Jaco pitched against these Red Raiders last year, throwing an inning on a couple of walks and a hit.
Same starting lineup we saw for Tim Tadlock's bunch. 19 runs on 23 hits. 18 of the 23 hits went for extra bases. A lot of cruising around the infield last night.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Saw a couple of Jayco shirts, Jayco number 10 shirts in the crowd, so he's probably got a few friends and family. Got a little pass list here today. Amarillo just 100 miles up the road.
Well, Easton Morrell has been such a great table setter. He's reached base safely in every game he's played. This is game number 15 for the super senior. 16 hits and 36 at bat is good for a .444 batting average. And he takes the 2-0 fastball on the outside. Andrew Fulton calling the balls and strikes this afternoon. Kyle Parker at first base. Doyle Suter, friend of the broadcast, at second, and David Wiley, who was calling balls and strikes last night. The veteran in his final season as a college umpire is down at third base. 3 balls, 1 strike. And Easton Morrell is hit by who is roaming around the middle of the infield in '86 for Tech?
Well, 1986, I was over there on the bench eating sunflower seeds, if that's what you're getting at. But it was a guy named Dave Geck at shortstop, Kevin Lowry at second base. A couple of good ones there. In the conference was still Greg Swindell down in Texas.
Well, Stillwell shoots it back towards the middle, and that's the Red Raiders' first hit.
That ball hits the mound and really kicks up. You can see it shoot up and over the shortstop. It probably prevents Villarreal from perhaps making a play on that ball. Of course, it was hammered. It kicks off the mound. Sometimes hitting the mound like that helps you, and sometimes it hurts. In that case, it helps Stilley as that thing shoots out into center field.
Now here's Jace Young, fresh off that 5-hit performance last night. A career high for him. 3 doubles, launched his 6th home run of the season. And swinging and missing at the first pitch breaking ball. Well, the numbers now for Jace Young. .385 batting average, 10 doubles, 1 triple, 6 homers, 28 batted in. Top 10 nationally with 25 walks. But they actually pitched to him last night.
Jace Young and Ty Coleman last night looked like what the Red Raiders saw out of Ivan Melendez and Murphy Staley last weekend. A couple of guys in the middle of the lineup just doing all sorts of damage.
Yeah, combined 10 RBIs between the 3 and 4 spots in the batting order for Tech last night. Ty Coleman was asked after the game what it's like hitting behind Jace Young, and he called Jace the catalyst of the team. The better Ty Coleman hits, the more pitches Jace Young will have a chance to do some damage with.
Yes, indeed.
Skylar Jayco in some first inning trouble. And Jace Young lifts it foul. It will slice out of play.
This wind we've got, again, nowhere close to where we were last night. Temperatures probably in the mid to upper 50s. It's a nice day down on the field. The wind, not the factor that it was, but you'll see balls like that sliced up and over the awning down the third base line that get pushed back toward the field of play. So there'll be a little bit of drama with balls sliced down the left field line, third base line.
Swing and a miss. Jace Young strikes out. And that's a big out number 1 for Skylar Jayco. Temperatures in the low 50s, partly cloudy skies. At 15 miles an hour after what we dealt with last night, it doesn't seem like much.
That is a picnic. Bright and sunshiny, not many clouds in the sky, and that really helps with that temperature down in the seat. You see a lot of folks in shirt sleeves and looking pretty comfortable.
Ty Coleman, the Red Raider designated hitter.
Jayco spun a couple of good breaking balls here. One to finish Jace Young, and the first one to start Coleman.
Coleman launched a pair of home runs last night. Now has 6 this season to go along with 26 RBIs, hitting .355. And he sends a soft line drive to left field. That will get down for a base hit. Easton Morrell on his way home. And the Red Raiders strike early.
Good base running there by Stillwell. He sees the soft contact and sees that ball fluttering a bit, perhaps thinking that Irwin might be distracted and chase Morrell. That ball takes that second hop there, and they're really challenging Irwin's arm. Stillwell busts it and goes from first to third on that little soft single to the left, and what that allows Coleman to do is to glide down to second. Now the Red Raiders with a couple more runs, a couple more runners in scoring position.
Tech had a 3-run first inning last night and a chance to do at least that again this afternoon. It'll go down as an RBI single, with the runners advancing on the throw from the Lumberjack left fielder Gabe Irwin. That somehow eluded Kurt Wilson and then ricocheted back to Zarello, so everybody stayed put.
All Zarello had to do was turn around and play that one off the net, off the wall.
Well, Kurt Wilson, after his historic weekend against the Texas Longhorns, followed that up with his 9th multi-hit game last night, including his 4th home run. The College Baseball Foundation shortstop of the week. They call him Walk-Off Wilson here in West Texas. The steal of home Friday, the grand slam to beat the Longhorns and secure the series win Saturday. Quite the journey for this 5th-year senior who has spent much of his Texas Tech career as a two-way player. He's pitched in 37 games in a Red Raider uniform, and he takes the fastball on the outside to level the count 2-2.
Jaco spun a good breaking ball the pitch before there. Firmly planted that pitch in the mind of Wilson, and then comes back and sneaks a fastball by him. Probably the pitch that Kurt was looking to hit there.
Kurt Wilson, left field. Irwin makes the catch. Stillwell tags, and it's 2-0 Texas Tech. Run-scoring sacrifice fly, and Wilson drives in his 28th run of the year.
Wilson staying on that breaking ball that he had swung and missed that earlier in the sequence, and tattooing this one, hit it right at Irwin. Irwin didn't have to move, and that was fortunate because that ball was ripped, but it does pick up the run.
2 outs in the inning. Here's Owen Washburn, the 6th Red Raider to bat. He sends a high fly ball, shallow left center field. Cullen has to come in a long way, putting the finishing touches on a 6-game homestand before hitting the road for the next 5. First Big 12 road series at Kansas this weekend, and then a 2-game midweek against another WAC opponent in Phoenix against the Grand Canyon Antelopes next week. A lot of WAC on the schedule for Tech. Faced California Baptist last Tuesday. Still have a couple of midweek matchups against nearby Abilene Christian.
And that's in a year in which New Mexico State isn't on the schedule. Red Raiders have been playing them fairly often over the last several years.
Austin Becker issues a 4-pitch walk to Dylan Eatman to open up the second. Leadoff base runner for Stephen F. Austin. New Mexico State, talk about all these new teams in the WAC. They will soon be leaving the conference for Conference USA, as will Sam Houston State eventually.
I have to confess that all of that's happening a little too quick for me. I can't even keep it straight. Who's jumping conferences?
Yeah, it's been tough to keep track of it. Big dominoes, obviously. Texas, Oklahoma kind of triggered everything else.
Yes, sir.
We did not see Gabe Irwin last night. He's the starting left fielder for Stephen F. Austin. 4 hits and 21 at-bats. Couple doubles, couple RBIs. And there's a strike from Becker. Good changeup tailing down and away from the left-hand hitter. Irwin lunging after it.
Yeah, you see pitch like that, and you see the 94 that we've seen him bump already on the scoreboard radar gun. Tells you about the stuff on Austin Becker. Pretty good.
Kind of a no-brainer to go back to the changeup.
Yep. Get that Bugs Bunny change with a big swing and a miss like we saw. Like, yeah, let's go ahead and try that one again. See if he's capable of making an adjustment to that.
Dylan Eatman drew a walk to start the inning. He's at first. And Irwin stays alive on another changeup. 3 straight changeups after the outside corner fastball to level the count. And you wonder if maybe Becker will try and come in tight with that fastball now.
He's set up for it.
Big 6'5" right-hander. Check in on Eatman at first base. Stephen F. Austin stole a couple bags last night from their leading base stealer, Cameron Crawford. Went fastball, and again Irwin fouls it back.
And that's an Andrews Brothers Routine foul ball.
Austin Becker was Texas Tech's Sunday guy in the abbreviated 2020 campaign. Made 4 starts before the shutdown, and then a month later underwent Tommy John surgery that kept him out all of last year. Big breaking ball swung on and missed. That was the first curveball of the sequence, and Becker picks up his first strikeout.
Well, that's a picture perfect back foot breaking ball. And you hear somebody say that, the guy throwing the back foot breaking ball to the glove side, to his glove side, in this case a right-handed pitcher throwing it to a left-handed hitter, dropping it just beyond his back foot. And that is a breaking ball that a hitter tends to either pull foul on the ground or swing over for a strike.
Cade Clemens, the batter, designated hitter today. Had a couple at bats last night. Finished 1 for 2. That base hit was a high wind aided single that landed behind second base. Curveball popped in the air, foul. It'll get back into the crowd. 0-2. Clemens, the senior out of Gilmer, Texas, on the east side of the Lone Star State. 226 hitter, his 8th start today, 7 hits and 31 at bats with a homer and 5 batted in. We mentioned last night he had a big hit in this ballpark for Stephen F. Austin when these teams met last season. Game tying 3-run double in the 9th before Tech walked it off in the home half of the inning. Able to hold up on the check swing. Clemens has hit safely in 4 straight and hit his first home run of the season this past Sunday at home against Sam Houston State. Another 2-strike pitch from Becker.
Austin trying to get Clemens to chase. Almost chase that 0-2 breaker, lays off of that 1-2, so now he's seen a couple, starting to make adjustments. Now zip that fastball into the hands and see if you can get that ground ball.
Oh, fastball just misses, and the count is full. Stephen F. Austin from here, a long 500+ mile bus trip back to Nacogdoches getting ready for Tarleton State in a WAC series this weekend. Curveball flared into right center field. It's going to get down. And with Eatman on the move, he stopped at second base for whatever reason. I think Washburn got to it pretty quickly.
Well, if we get a shot of Jace Young at second, you see him right there. You can see Jace calling for the baseball. He knows that it's a base hit to right field, but he's trying to show Eatman. And look, Eatman doesn't know where the ball is. And instead of continuing to run first to third, he's pulling up because Young's calling for the ball. Eatman didn't check the hitter, didn't know where the ball was, and Young deeped him right there. That's good stuff.
That's the second hit for Stephen F. Austin, and quite the pick from Cole Stillwell.
Yeah, that was a glove save and a beaut there.
You'll see middle infielders do that a lot. Sometimes outfielders will pretend like they have a beat on the baseball that's going to land in front of them. Doesn't always work, but Jace Young with a nice decoy move to keep the runners at first and second, and Villarreal swings over the breaking ball.
Yeah, and as a middle infielder, especially when you see, you know, that I'll flip that around. As the base runner running in a spot like that, it's a full count, 1 out. You know he's going to be swinging. It's not a straight steal. You've got to take a couple of checks and then peek over your left shoulder just to see where the baseball goes.
Well, that's back through the middle. Another base hit for Stephen F. Austin. Eatman rounds third. Hunt has trouble with it, and the Lumberjacks are on the scoreboard. A run-scoring single off the bat of P.J. Villarreal.
That's a belt-high breaking ball. That one, big-time hanger, shot back through the middle for the base hit. That little bobble there doesn't cost Sam Hunt anything. He was going to be hustling the ball back into third base anyway. I think everybody was just moving up 60 feet except for the, 90 feet except for the base runner scoring from second, obviously.
Villarreal knocks in his 10th run this year. And now Jacob Evangelista, second baseman. Lumberjacks have already matched their hit total from last night. Picked up 3 through an inning plus against Becker. All singles. 2 balls, no strikes. Evangelista hitless in last night's series opener, has 9 hits and 39 at-bats this season, 1 double, 1 homer, a couple of RBIs.
Well, in his outing last week, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago here today, he went 1, 2, 3 in the first inning. And allowed a solo home run and walked 4. Was able to pitch around that, and it was just a 1-run inning because he got a double play ball in there in the middle of all those walks. But this is a bit of a repeat of that pattern in terms of being pretty quick and clean in the first inning and then struggling here in the second.
He's fallen behind on Evangelista with the top of the order to follow. There's a 2-0 pitch from Becker. And it's bounced towards the right side. Jace Young charges, gets rid of it quickly. 2 outs.
Young really attacking this ground ball, but it's just a big high chopper. But he's attacking the ground ball thinking, hey, maybe he can glove that and get a quick tag. Unable to do so. The ball just not hit hard enough. Makes the easy play over there at first. And now Austin Becker 1 pitch away from getting out of a jam.
Cameron Crawford led off the game with a fly out to right field. And takes the breaking ball for strike 1. Well, Crawford was the Lumberjacks' hottest hitter coming to Lubbock for this 2-game series. He had 10 hits in 4 games last week. Finished 0 for 1 last night, did reach twice on a walk and a hit by pitch, and then stole a couple bases, as we mentioned. One ball, 1 strike. Senior out of Prairieville, Louisiana. Second season as a Lumberjack after 2 years at Baton Rouge Community College. And a belt-high strike puts Becker ahead 1-2. Stephen F. Austin seeking the timely 2-out hit against the 7th-ranked team in the country. One-two pitch, swing and a miss. A changeup. Tech batting order. Hudson White, Parker Kelly, Sam Hunt scheduled. And Hudson White after the first pitch. A line drive base hit.
White dropping the head on a fastball that's down and in, and ripping it into left field. Nice piece of hitting there. Hands stay inside the barrel. Shoots it into left for the base hit. Now Skylar Jaco goes back to work out of the stretch.
Jaco gave up a couple hits, a couple runs in his first inning of work. First two guys reached in the top of the first inning. Well, 2 more hits for Parker Kelly last night. His 7th multiple hit game. Super senior out of Wichita Falls. .314 batting average, 5 doubles, 1 triple, 6 homers. Still leads the club with 29 batted in. Put together a big stretch early this month where he hit 3 grand slams in 1 week and hit 2 grand slams in 1 game against Merrimack back on March 5th.
The grand slam he hit off of Mississippi State was instrumental in beating those guys, the defending national champs.
Hanging breaking ball hit high in the air, deep left field. Irwin jumps. Last season as a junior, Gennari appeared in 12 games, was in the weekend rotation, logged 57 innings, finished with a 3-5 record. Shallow fly ball right field, and that'll get down. Cameron Crawford tried to dive and catch it, but it's another hit for Sam Hunt.
Yeah, heck of an effort by Crawford. Coming in and diving. Boy, it looked like he had done the hard part. Ball banging out of the palm of his glove and onto the ground. Sam Hunt with another base hit, and the Red Raiders are working here in the bottom of the 2nd.
A single home run and single to start this 2nd. There's Easton Morrell, who was hit by a pitch his only time. Morrell keeping his string alive of reaching base safely in every game he's played in this year. 7th time he had been hit by a pitch, and this is just his 13th start, and that leads the team.
He's been a bit of an on-base machine in his time here at Tech. Last year, the on-base percentage over 400, and he hit 250 on the season. So I think if I remember correctly, he was 7th in the Big 12 in walks last year. That number up over 40. He has really developed into a tough out.
3 balls, 1 strike.
He's another guy that's bounced around the field. Hadn't done a bunch in center field and hadn't played a bunch in the middle infield. I'm sure he probably could. He was a high school shortstop, but a lot of left and right and 3rd and 1st.
A full count now. Easton Morrell, 7th in on-base percentage in the Big 12 last year, 2nd on the team behind only Jace Young. A high fly ball to left field gave Irwin a long way in. Makes the running catch for the 2nd inning's first out.
Irwin takes a couple steps back, and this is routine can of corn. He was really perhaps a little jumpy after seeing the wind cranking across from left to right. Excuse me, right to left last night. But we don't have that here today, and he takes a couple steps back and had to make that play on a full sprint coming in.
Cole Stillwell takes the first pitch.
Yeah, we got a balk,
but it
Chris.
will not. Yeah, it won't count. That's a balk.
Yeah, Gennari didn't come to a stop. He had 2 umpires out there at first and second base calling that. He really rushed through that one, didn't come set.
Happened just before he released it.
Yeah, back that highlight up about 2 seconds and you'll have the clip. He was rushing it up there, probably thinking he wanted to keep Sam Hunt from getting a jump.
Lumberjacks already have a right-hander heating up in the bullpen. Cole Stillwell singled and scored in the first inning. Stilly has now reached base safely in 23 of his last 24 games. 10th multi-hit game of the year last night. For the 4th-year junior at a rock wall. Stillwell in 41 starts last season. Had 8 home runs, finished with a .288 batting average. Getting the start at catcher today. And a 3-ball, no strike count. Sam Hunt, the redshirt freshman, reached on a single, now at second base after the balk. And a 4-pitch walk to Stillwell. We'll put 2 on with 1 out. For the 2021 Big 12 Player of the Year, Jace Young.
Now batting for the Red Raiders, number 2, Jace Young.
Young struck out in his first at bat, chased a breaking ball from Skylar Jaco. That was Jaco's only strikeout of the afternoon. Jace trying to get dialed in right here to face this left-hander. There's ducks on the pond.
Big looping curveball. Nothing in 1.
John Harris would call that the American Legion curveball right there.
American Legion curveball.
The old Legion curve.
I almost like that better than Chamber of Commerce weather.
I agree.
Got some good stuff here. Nothing in 2 very quickly on Jace Young. Gennari probably shouldn't throw this pitch anywhere close. It's bounced to second. And Lumberjacks seeking their first win here in Lubbock since 2014. And Kyle Cullen will reach on a leadoff base hit as he pokes one the opposite way.
Gets a pitch down and away. Pokes it out there into left.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, number
1 hopper
18,
right in front of Easton Morrell, and now Becker will work out of the stretch.
Peyton Parker reached on a base hit back in the first inning. Parker, the sophomore from West Monroe, Louisiana. Stephen F. Austin campus is only about 90 miles from Shreveport, Louisiana. Fair share of Louisiana talent on this Lumberjack roster, as there always seems to be.
Yeah, this is West Texas and that is East Texas, and there is a whole lot of state in between us and them. You mentioned 500 miles.
Peyton Parker got started at Colin Community College in Mississippi. Runner goes, and a bouncer foul, 1-2. Saw Stephen F. Austin execute a hit and run last inning, but Jace Young with a nice decoy move to keep runners at first and second instead of having them on the corners. Lumberjacks still scored a run anyway, but need a lot more than 1-run innings to hang with this Texas Tech team. Red Raiders put 19 in the run column last night. In on the hands, rolled to third, backhanded by Kelly to second for 1. Relay to first won't be in time. Peyton Parker reaches on the fielder's choice, but a nice play made by Parker Kelly to cut down the lead runner at second.
Yeah, nicely done on that backhand. Takes him a couple steps toward the line, sets himself and throws a strike, makes sure a 1. Nicely done there by Parker Kelly. It's a lot of what we've seen from him over his time here. Very good defensively.
Very strong throwing arm. Jake Zarello, the cleanup hitter, sent a lazy fly ball to Sam Hunt in center. Here's the final out of the first inning. And that's nowhere close. Gets back to Stillwell quickly, and Peyton Parker will stay put. It's the second time we've seen that this afternoon.
Yeah, that one. And that one not getting the net, but rather the padding. Truly able to just turn around and play it on a hop and keep Parker over there first.
Now there's that changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike. Zarello leads the team with 6 homers.
Oh, that's a good change too. It's obviously showing good arm action and backing off of the velocity and all that, but he's also located that pitch well away from these left-handed hitters, away and down. That's the kind of change up you swing over.
Pitch outside. Parker takes off, and he's out.
Affiliates last year. Things moved around.
And D-backs now, right?
Yeah.
So Johnny Cardenas, his challenge successful. A stolen base, first of the year for Peyton Parker. Takes away the ground ball double play possibility. Instead of the bases empty, 2 outs. Runner at second with 1 out. Off the outside with a fastball. Red Raiders got 2 in the first, 2 more in the second. Stephen F. Austin trying to hang around after a lopsided loss last night. Becker spins and fires. Nearly got by to center field. Kurt Wilson keeps it in the infield.
Wilson's out there working on Parker, trying to keep him close. Jace Young playing a step or 2 out onto the outfield at second base. They're playing him to pull a little bit in the infield.
In the air to left center. Sam Hunt on the move, makes the catch. Nice running grab made by the redshirt freshman in left center field.
And I was just about to say they're playing him a step or 2 to pull in the infield, but shading him around to left in the outfield. It's probably a good thing that Sam Hunt was shaded over into left center field there. It's a nice run and play on that one, but they had him scouted well.
Now 2 outs. Dylan Eatman walked and scored in the second. Senior from Mansfield. Big curveball for strike 1. Started his college career at Dallas College North Lake. Had 5 hits in the final 2 games over the weekend against Sam Houston at home. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
A lot of Dallas-Fort Worth kids on this Stephen F. Austin roster. Of course, a lot of them on this Red Raider roster as well. Probably some overlaps, some guys that know each other from travel ball and whatnot growing up.
Good location, but a little off the inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, Austin Becker, you'll see a lot of right-handers be hesitant to throw changeups to right-hand hitters, but he's used that pitch a lot, righties or lefties today.
He's had good command of that pitch today. There it is again. State will play at Baylor. Baylor's got the Big 12 bye this weekend.
Ty Coleman takes high and away. Coleman, after 5 RBIs last night, picked up where he left off with a run-scoring single in today's first inning. And takes the belt-high strike. Angelo Gennari came in relief of the starter Skylar Jaco, who left with an apparent right arm injury. Kyle Cullen will make the catch, and that's the first out.
Even if you are not ready for the day, it cannot always be night.
Last night, fly balls like that were a bit of an adventure with that wind cranking from right to left as it did, 30, 35, 40 miles an hour, depending on when you looked. Today, those are a little more routine. And we're all better for it.
Yeah, our viewers as well. I mean, that center field cam was shaking a whole lot last night. Nothing we could do about it.
Yeah, usually in this ballpark, if the flags aren't up, and this has been the way for those flagpoles have been out there for 30+ years. And usually when the flags aren't up, it's an indication of winds, I don't know, somewhere north of 30, 35 miles an hour, because I think they get torn up if it's blowing that hard. And we did not have flags last night, so that's a pretty good indication. If you want a little ballpark meteorology, look at the flags at Danlaw Field.
Tell you everything you need to know. It's like Punxsutawney Phil. Deep right field for Kurt Wilson. Home runs in back-to-back games against Stephen F. Austin. And his 3rd homer on this 6-game homestand as Washburn cuts and misses. Red Raiders' 2nd home run today. The Super Seniors flexing their muscle on this Wednesday afternoon. Parker Kelly had a 2-run shot in the 2nd. Delayed strike call from Andrew Fulton. Kurt Wilson's 5th homer. 29th RBI. Had the sac fly in the 1st inning today. Washburn pops it up. Gabe Irwin. 2 outs.
Wash reaching a little bit there for a pitch. Of course, he's in protect mode with 2 strikes. Flaring that out to left. Irwin having a long way to go, but running it down.
Two outs, the base is empty for the Tech first baseman, Hudson White. The freshman swings at the first pitch and sends a lazy fly ball to right field. Crawford got Irwin swinging back in the 2nd. Gabe Irwin, Cade Clemens, PJ Villarreal slated to bat. Austin Becker comes from a baseball family. His father, Kevin, played professionally in the Boston Red Sox, Cincinnati Reds organizations. Mentioned that Becker was a 37th round pick coming out of Big Walnut High School of the Texas Rangers, and well, he wound up in Texas anyway. He's got the College World Series ring, made 2 appearances on the 2019 Vanderbilt Commodores team. Teammates with Kumar Rocker. Y'all remember Kumar Rocker? Got drafted over the summer, but didn't sign with the Mets, and now he's draft eligible again this summer.
Yeah, that was quite a story last summer. Drafted, and then the Mets sort of backed away from really giving him the top dollar everybody thought he would get. Some rumors of injury concerns, and who knows what all went into that. But yeah, the Rocker not pitching this spring. Waiting for the next draft, I guess.
A leadoff walk to Gabe Irwin. Cade Clemens takes a strike. Clemens likes hitting here. Single his only time. Was back in the second. Had a base hit last night. He's now hit safely in 5 straight. Speaking of Major League Baseball draft, the number 2 overall pick in 2017, hard-throwing right-hander Hunter Green was announced earlier today. He will be in the Cincinnati Reds big league rotation when the season starts. Well, Cade Clemens sends it to right center. Owen Washburn will run it down for the inning's first out.
Good piece of hitting there by Clemens. Just tough luck as he lines that one. The glove of Owen Washburn. Wash saw it all the way. A couple steps to his right. Made a nice, easy play. Yeah, that Hunter Green, he is a good-looking prospect. He'll ring up 3 digits on the radar gun.
He was hitting 100 in high school.
Yeah, amazing.
BJ Villarreal, a run-scoring base hit his only time. 340 average in limited at-bats, but getting an opportunity. The starting shortstop in both games this week at Texas Tech should earn him some more playing time moving forward in the WAC season. Stephen F. Austin, first-year members of the Western Athletic Conference after a long run in the Southland. Southland looks a lot different now. As does the WAC. 13 teams, 2 divisions. Stephen F. Austin in the Southwest Division. California Baptist, who we saw here last week, there in the West Division.
What'd you say last week? It's not your parents' WAC.
It's not mom and dad's WAC anymore.
No. In those days, it was what, BYU was the talk of that league way back in the day. Isn't that right?
Well, TCU was in the WAC for a while, right?
Absolutely. Mexico.
That's a 4-pitch walk, second of the inning. And the third issued by Becker.
Shea Hardis begins moving around, stirring a little bit in the Tech bullpen, and now the warm-up top goes off, and he picks up the pace and heads over to the mound. So he's trying to get ready.
Batting for the Lumberjacks, number 3, Jacob Evangelista.
Jacob Evangelista hitting 9th for Stephen F. Austin this afternoon. Will come up with 2 on and 1 out. See if the Lumberjacks can put something together to make things interesting in these middle innings. They were held to just 1 run last night on 3 hits. 1 run on 4 hits today, and Becker misses badly with another pitch. I wonder if fatigue is starting to set in for Becker, who hasn't thrown in a game in 2 weeks. Evangelista in the air to right center field. Washburn reaches up to make the catch. Tagging from second to third. Gabe Irwin will move up 90 feet, but now 2 outs in the inning.
Batting for the Lumberjacks, number 4, Cameron Crawford.
So Cameron Crawford, the leadoff hitter of Stephen F. Austin. He'll try again. A fly ball to right field and a strikeout in 2 at-bats against Becker this afternoon. That was a big at-bat last time he was up early in this game. Stephen F. Austin had guys at second and third with 2 outs, trailing 2-1. And Becker struck out Crawford to end the threat.
Yeah, chance to tie it or take the lead there.
Now that changeup. Crawford swings over the top of it. Lengthwise, this is already Becker's longest outing of the year. Previously 3 innings earlier this month against Merrimack.
Yeah, and that also means his longest outing since Tommy John surgery, so he's taking steps. It's good to see. Pitch count up around 70, getting stronger. The more he pitches, the more rhythm he finds. You never know what's in store for this young man. Could be a tremendous asset to have down the stretch.
I mean, you think about the 3 guys that are already in the weekend rotation. Chase Hampton has been a reliable Tuesday guy despite being scratched with a non-COVID illness last night. Throw Becker in the mix. I mean, teams that get deep in the college baseball postseason have starting pitching depth, and it appears Tech has that in 2022.
Got a base runner moving up there. The Raiders not paying much attention to Villarreal there as Becker is 1 strike away from finishing Crawford, and that's where his focus is. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you can never have enough arms. These midweek games present great opportunities for guys to find a little rhythm, find a little timing, get themselves right, start finding some weekend opportunities and some higher leverage opportunities, and who knows where it goes from there. It's an important part of the development process.
Cameron Crawford having a lot of trouble tracking these changeups from Austin Becker. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go back there with a 1-2 strike count. Trying to keep this game close, has turned to his Friday night starter from last weekend, which might come as a surprise to some.
Yeah, he's throwing his midweek bullpen right here on the mound.
Parker Kelly launched a 2-run home run back in the 2nd inning. 7th big fly of the year. Leads the team with 31 runs batted in. And Kelly sends a fly ball to deep left center. Gabe Irwin, shy of the warning track, will make the catch.
Well, Benny Emmons faced the Red Raiders here last year. He went 2 scoreless innings now. He did walk a couple guys and hit a man. Didn't allow a hit. Picked a guy off.
That's what we call effectively wild.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sam Hunt swings and misses. Base hit to right field for the freshman his only time.
Goes up there hunting a first pitch fastball, but swings over the changeup from Emmons.
Emmons made his season debut in Big 12 country at TCU back in late February. Pitched 3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run. No decision against the Horned Frogs. Oh, Sam Hunt taking advantage of a 0-2 mistake. And it's another multi-hit ball game for the redshirt Frosch.
Hunt had swung over 2 changeups. They go back to the change, which in and of itself wasn't a bad idea, but the location on an 0-2 changeup needs to be about shin high and probably a little off the outside corner and not center cut, belt high. Unable to stay on that change and rip it back through the middle for the base hit.
Red Raiders will get back to the top of the order. Easton Morrell, his third plate appearance. Hit by a pitch in the first, came around to score the game's first run, and flew out to left field his last time. Emmons, the third Lumberjack pitcher this afternoon. Second right-hander. Just inside. 2-0.
Emmons not afraid to work off of that change. He's thrown a bunch of them here to these two left-handed hitters.
Line deferred. One of two Thursday through Saturday Big 12 series. The penultimate weekend of the regular season, which will be the final pre-Big 12 tournament games. Oklahoma will visit Lubbock.
Big 12 tournament in Arlington, the home of the Texas Rangers. Boy, that's quite a setting for a conference tournament. Really nice to have that roof just close over if the rain clouds start to form. That'll help a Big 12 tournament stay on schedule.
Hardest dealing with Kyle Cullen, Peyton Parker, Jake Zarello. 2, 3, and 4 in the Lumberjack batting order. Hardest, a first-year Red Raider. Transfer from Grayson Junior College, where he spent the last couple seasons. Coming out of the Colony High School, he was a commit to Dallas Baptist, and it probably felt really good earlier this month when he and the Red Raiders went to Dallas Baptist and he picked up his first Texas Tech win. Also have some former Red Raiders on that Dallas Baptist club.
Yes, indeed. A lot of folks will remember Nate Rombach. He's catching just about every day for DBU right now. Really, this is the point in the season where it's just maybe a shade too early to start talking about RPI, but as we approach the halfway point, you're starting to see those things get published. They're pretty volatile still at this point early in the year. I think Tech came into these two ball games or left the Texas series number 6 in the country. DBU at number 1.
Ball. Full count to the super senior. Shea Hardis last pitched, as you mentioned, Gus, over the weekend, scoreless frame in the middle game of the Texas series. Prior to that, he'd gone 13 days without appearing in a game. Hadn't pitched since a tough outing at Rice. Swing and a miss. Hardis strikes out the first batter he faces in relief.
Batting for the Lumberjacks, number 18, Peyton Parker.
Peyton Parker's been on a couple times, a single in the first, reached on a fielder's choice in the third. Final line on the starter, Austin Becker, 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts through 72 pitches. Longest post Tommy John outing for the big right-hander. Andrew Devine, who started yesterday, also pitched 4 innings for Tech, giving up 1 run. It was his longest outing as a Red Raider. In on the hands and hit in the air to center field. Sam Hunt makes the catch.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, number 31.
Little jam shot pop-up out into shallow center field or medium depth center field, but Hardis able to get the fastball in on the hands. Parker.
Jake Zarello, hitless in the series. A couple of fly balls to Sam Hunt today.
Zarello has seen some off-speed stuff from this Red Raider pitching staff over the last game and a half. There he gets started with another off-speed delivery and way out in front with the swing.
It paints the outside edge to jump ahead 0-2. Swinging. Cole Stillwell. Been on twice, single and a walk. And a 2-ball, 1-strike count in his third plate appearance. Jace Young, Ty Coleman will follow. The big bats scheduled to hit for Texas Tech in the home half of the fifth.
We have a new third baseman here. Get that number for you in just a second.
That's Cheney Dodge taking over at the hot corner for Stephen F. Austin, senior out of Karen Crow, Louisiana. Right over the heart of the plate. And the count's full on Stillwell. Peyton Parker leaves the game. Cheney Dodge will be hitting out of the 3 spot moving forward. And Stillwell aboard for a third time as he works his second walk.
Right-hander working in the Lumberjacks bullpen.
Now batting for the Red Raiders, number 2, Jace Young.
Jace Young, after 5 hits in last night's game, has gone 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a double play today. With the wind pushing out towards right field, if he gets one on the inner half, watch out. Young unloads center field, way back and off the wall. Another double for Jace Young. He had 3 of them last night. As his first hit today, it's his 11th double of the season.
Hitting this off the top of that hitter's backdrop. Well, off the top of that at the 402 mark. Ball was tattooed.
So the Red Raiders in business with their cleanup hitter Ty Coleman coming up. Coleman had a run-scoring single in the first. A fly out to center field his last time in the third. Coleman has hits in 17 of his last 18 games. Quite the offseason addition for Tim Tadlock's bunch. Spent the last 3 years at Texas A&M. A mistake pitch fouled back.
Playing deep and straight away for Coleman.
On the ground to third, Dodge knocks it down, thought about coming home. Instead throws out Coleman at first base. Another RBI for the Tech cleanup hitter. Cole Stillwell scoots across home plate, and the Red Raiders have a 6-1 lead.
Yeah, he makes a good decision there. Once he had made that stab to his left, recover the ball and set his feet. That was going to take a awfully strong, perfect throw to get Stillwell at the plate. You're playing down 4 or 5 runs here with runners on second, third, no outs. Trade the run for the out.
Ty Coleman has now driven home 7 runs in this 2-game series. Kurt Wilson has a couple of RBIs today. The sac fly in the first. Opposite field solo home run is 5th. The last time he came up in the 3rd. And he cuts through the elevated pitch from Benny Emmons, 0-2. Now, is that his fastball? It registered at 82 miles an hour. I was going to say fastball, but it looked pretty straight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we've seen him use his changeup a bunch.
Oh, Kurt Wilson kind of rubbing his lower back after that big swing and miss.
Yeah, he's kind of walking around, and Coach Tadlock's coming out. Brian Simpson's are coming out and going, look there. Wilson trying to wave him off and kind of grabbing at his lower back.
Wilson, such a key member of this Red Raider club. At shortstop and in the middle of the order. Certainly hope it's not too much discomfort for the super senior. He will stay in the game and at least finish out the plate appearance with a 0-2 count. Red Raider Nation, a collective deep breath.
And we haven't talked about it, but Dylan Carter down there in street close these last 2 ball games. After playing a bunch in center field. Don't know what's wrong with him, but the fact that he's not suited up is a little disconcerting.
Two balls and 2 strikes on Kurt Wilson. Super senior out of Arlington. Played in more than 150 games at Tech. 152 this afternoon. I think everybody's interested to see how he responds after that last swing.
Yeah, I agree. I think everyone's kind of holding their breath over in that dugout to see if he's.
And that's strike 3 looking.
Emmons throws a ton of off-speed stuff. Now, I think we do have a guy here that pitches in the low to mid 80s, but also throws a ton of change. You can see him gripping that changeup coming out of the glove there. He is throwing a bunch of them.
Picks up his first strikeout. Now dealing with Owen Washburn, who's hit a couple of fly balls to the outfield, 0 for 2. Wash had his 8th multiple hit game last night. Also has 8 multi-RBI games this season. Went safely in 9 of his last 10. Good looking freshman out of Webster, Wisconsin. Perhaps some of those folks will make the long trek to Lawrence this weekend. One ball, 2 strikes. It appears to be a steady diet of fastballs and changeups from Emmons. And we mentioned he started last Friday in a conference series for Stephen F. Austin. So you wonder if it's, like you said, kind of the midweek bullpen session for this guy. Maybe he doesn't want to throw any of his breaking balls. Maybe he doesn't have any breaking balls.
Yeah, he's pretty comfortable going fastball change to these left-handed hitters, that's for sure. He finished Wilson with a change.
A 2-2 to Owen Washburn. And a foul ball. Caught a piece of Zarello, the catcher. He might need a moment.
You don't need them, it's fine.
Texas Tech, 19-1 winners last night, picked up their 21st victory of the season. Now 14-1 at home. That started 13-0 at home before Texas salvaged the series finale here on Sunday. Full count. If Washburn reaches, Hudson White waiting on deck.
There's enough deception in that changeup that Emmons not afraid to throw it over and over and over again. Fastball is more of a show me pitch, and he's really working off of that change.
Line drive right field. That's a base hit. Jace Young will score. Owen Washburn adds on to the Texas Tech lead. It's a double for the freshman.
Well, that was a fastball in Emmons. As that ball's ripped over the infielders' heads and out into right field, you could hear an audible groan from him, barking at himself for that pitch. He obviously didn't like something about it. Certainly didn't like the location or the result.
So Washburn has his first hit. Hudson White will have a chance to bat in the home half of the fifth. A single and a flyout for Hudson White today. Getting a chance to stay in the lineup, but not be in that catcher's crouch. First baseman today, Stillwell, is the Texas Tech backstop. Owen Washburn with that run-scoring double, driving home his 23rd run this season. Freshman's 5th double. Popped up. Foul territory. Cheney dodge. Dylan Eatman leads off. He has scored Stephen F. Austin's only run so far. And takes the breaking ball from Hardis. Strike two. Hardis worked a 1-2-3 fifth inning. Picked up a couple strikeouts in relief of Austin Becker, the starting pitcher, who lasted 4 innings. 89 on the stadium radar gun. On a swing and a miss, lunging after the breaking ball. Third strikeout.
That flag blowing out to right center. Nice to see it. Flapping comfortably and not howling. The forecast was that the wind was going to reduce through the afternoon, and that's about what it's done. And I think folks around here will take that after what we dealt with yesterday. Certainly what we dealt with here in this ballpark last night. It was rough.
Gabe Irwin takes a strike. Was that called a strike?
Yes, it was.
Quickly, 0-2. A pop-up into shallow center. Sam Hunt calls off Jace Young. 2 outs. Jace Young lauded Brooks. Middle infielders moving forward. Brooks, the freshman from Mount Carmel, Ohio.
Cincinnati area kid. He and Trevor Conley, teammates growing up for a long time. Word on the street is that Loudon Brooks could hoop too. Chris Sylvester, thought you'd want to know that. He said he could ball.
My Monday night rec league is getting tired of me wearing out those nets.
The bricks you're firing around. Go pick up Loudon.
Enough bricks to build a house.
Exactly.
When they trash talk me.
You need to see if you can talk Coach Tadlock into borrowing a shortstop for a little point guard duty, a little two-guard duty.
Get us out in transition.
Yes, get us out on the break.
I'll be in the corner.
Yeah, counting, hiding out there at the 3. Nice. It's just what we need. More guys surfing around the 3-point line in the rec league. Somebody go do the dirty stuff. Set a pick. Get a rebound for crying out loud.
Cherry picking here and there.
Yes.
Oh, Shea Hardis really impressed after a couple of doubles last night. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Dylan Carter is unable to go this weekend in Lawrence. I think Tim Tadlock has to feel comfortable with what he's seen from Sam Hunt these 2 midweek games.
Sam moves around good out there in center field. Stringing together some at-bats and looking good doing it.
Evangelista, 2 outs. Lumberjack second baseman tested again in this home half of the 6th. Willie Mangus couldn't get more than 1 out last week against the Warhawks in Monroe, Louisiana. He has retired the first 2 Red Raiders he's faced in this outing and now deals with Easton Morrell with 2 outs and the bases empty. Easton lined into a double play. A ball that was squared up but hit right at the first baseman Dylan Eatman, who had the unassisted double play to wrap up the 4th inning. Eatman, he has this one, and Cully Mangus makes quick work of Texas Tech.
Also gave up a home run.
They'd like to keep the ball down against these Lumberjack hitters. Swing and a miss through the breaking ball.
Trendon works with tremendous tempo. You can see how fast he works.
Villarreal lifts a short fly ball to right center. Jace Young backpedals out to make the play, and that's the first out in the top of the 7th.
He throws a pitch, gets the next sign, and is back on the rubber, ready to go quickly. This tempo is something that he's had worked quick in several late innings spots like this. This one hit right at Sam Hunt, center field for a quick second out. But boy, on Friday night, Trendon Paris was not working quickly. Took a lot of time between pitches. I don't know what the difference was, what actually was going on, but this pace that we're seeing right here that we've seen all year was not present on Friday. He gave up a couple of long ones.
He's picked up 2 quick outs in the 7th. Now back to the top of the order. Cameron Crawford 0 for 3. You know, sometimes young freshman, big moment. Number 2 team in the country, Big 12 opener.
Sell out.
Late
no
lead, you know, tough spot, but Tim Tadlock expects him to thrive in those late inning high leverage spots. He bounces back, scheduled to hit. A couple of defensive substitutions in between innings for Stephen F. Austin. Will Cherney has taken over at first base. Al Campbell has taken over at second. A new right side of the infield for the Lumberjacks in the late innings. Cole Stillwell's been on 3 times, a single and 2 walks. A couple runs scored.
Stillwell faced Mangus last year and got him for an RBI double. Jace Young on deck got him for an RBI single. Those were the 2 hits he allowed last year. So Stillwell clearly getting pitched around here. It's Mangus remembering the bat buried deep into mid-April last year. That was sarcasm. There's probably zero recollection of having faced each other.
A lot of at-bats and appearances in between.
Yep.
Now Stillwell aboard for a 4th time. Jace Young 1 for 3. Doubled off the center field wall, right near the 402 sign. His last time in the 5th, his 11th double, which puts him off the national lead by 3. Mangus having trouble finding the strike zone, or perhaps pitching very carefully to the big bats for Tech.
There's a right-hander working in the Lumberjacks bullpen.
Jace Young will have the green light if he wants, and he takes over the inside. Another walk. Jace Young, top 10 in the country coming into this series in base on balls. Aboard for a 2nd time. It puts 2 on with nobody out for Ty Coleman.
Ty Coleman.
2 more RBIs for Coleman after he knocked in 5 last night. Run scoring single in the 1st. RBI ground out in the 5th inning. Mangus, the 3rd different pitcher that, or rather 4th different pitcher that Coleman has seen in his now 4 plate appearances. Now Coley Mangus really struggling to find the strike zone. Did a great job pitching to contact in his 1st inning of work. 8 pitches to get Parker Kelly, Sam Hunt, Easton Morrell, but not the same success here. A bouncer to short. They go to 2nd for 1, relay to 1st in time. A double play. 6-4-3. This night's game. Freshman took over for Kurt Wilson defensively at short and sends a fly ball to center field. It'll be deep enough to score Stillwell from 3rd. And the freshman has a sacrifice fly. 8-1 Texas Tech.
He gets a fastball elevated and out over the plate. Nice routine depth fly ball there. The throw comes into 2nd base. Masters was actually moving on that pitch. Hustles back to 1st, and there's 2 outs.
Saw Cody Masters a bit last night. Had a chance to bat after entering the game as a pinch runner. Oh, and Washburn had a run-scoring double his last time in the 5th. A little tardy on the fastball there. Cully Mangus appeared in 15 games as a pitcher last season. We mentioned he's a 2-way player. Celebrated his 22nd birthday last month. Washburn skies it to right center. Crawford into Longhorn takes over. Slow curveball rolled foul. Kyle Cullen laid down a sac bunt last night, led the country with 17 sacrifice bunts last season. Jace Young up with it. And that's the first out of the 8th.
Little rollover ground ball there. Just what Trenton Parrish ordered.
Batting for the Lumberjacks, number 8, Peyton Parker.
Cheney Dodge will get his first at-bat of the series. Took over defensively at first base. Senior from Karen Crow, Louisiana. Transfer from Northwestern State. Hit safely in 3 of his last 4 games. That deflects over to Brooks. Freshman shows off his arm, but it won't be in time to get Cheney Dodge, who reaches with 1 out in the 8th.
Pretty good effort there by Kelly. Reaching to his left. That might have been exciting if that throw was on the bag, but it was a long throw and he had to rush it. Like Kelly and Brooks had that scripted. Tip it to you, you put it in.
Jake Zarello, in what could very well be his final plate appearance in Lubbock this week. Went hitless last night, hitless in 3 at-bats today. Senior from South Beach. 2 balls, no strikes. Next on the docket for 7th-ranked Texas Tech, a 3-game series in Lawrence against the Kansas Jayhawks this weekend. Kansas 8-14 overall. They are 0-3 in the conference. They were swept by Oklahoma State in Stillwater over the weekend. Gus, they have played just 1 home game all year. This will be their first home series in early April.
I think that home game took place last week against Wichita State, isn't that right? You know what? I think they played that game in Lawrence last week, but I think it was Wichita State's home game. I may be wrong about that. Can't remember.
An early March home game against Missouri State.
Yeah, that's probably right. It was in Wichita. Now that I think about it.
That's bounced through the right side. A base hit for Zarello. And the Jacks have 2 on with 1 out.
He gets a little rollover ground ball there, but unfortunately Hudson White holding the base runner on at first, and that ball trickles out into right field.
Pitching for the Lumberjacks, number 24, Will Cerny.
Will Cherney. Takes the off-speed pitch for a strike. Twelve at-bats on the year for Cherney.
Cherney got both starts at first base here last year.
Skylar Black, one of Stephen F. Austin's best hitters on last year's team, now a volunteer assistant with the Lumberjacks. Well, Jace Young got a late break on that. It might be trouble, and Loudon Brooks makes the catch.
He had 3 guys that were fighting that. Young with a late break. Hunt out there fairly deep center field. He's got a pretty good wind in his face. You can see him coming out of the bottom of the screen, but it was Brooks who takes over. Makes that lunging grab there. Hangs on. Nicely done. Washburn wasn't going to get there in time either. That's a heck of a play right there.
Yeah, not too many times without the overshift on are you going to see a shortstop catch a fly ball in shallow right center, but Loudon Brooks showing off his athletic ability, getting over there and holding on.
They're going to play Irwin to pull here as Brooks dances around to the first base side of second, and Young goes out into shallow right field. Now Young's going to stay deep at second. He's going to take a few steps to his right, and Brooks is going to get back over there, third base side of second. So it is a shift, but not the heavy shift with three guys on the right side of the infield.
Castelaw faced TCU in late February, gave up 1 earned run in 1 inning of work. Hudson White swinging at the first pitch into left center field, and Kyle Cullen will track it down.
Cullen with a nice run and grab there.
Parker Kelly hit a 2-run home run back in the second. One of 2 Red Raider long balls today. Kurt Wilson hit the other. Super Seniors showing out in the finale of this 2-game series. They've kind of been X factors so far for Tech, right, Gus? Getting this type of production from Parker Kelly. He had just 2 career home runs and 247 at-bats the last 4 years. All of a sudden, it's not even April. He has 7, and you can't say enough about what Kurt Wilson's done over at shortstop, replacing Cal Conley from a season ago.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the first 2 ball games of the year. Parker Kelly was not the starting third baseman. Eastman Morrell had won that job. Got the first 2 starts. Easton tweaks a hamstring in game 2 down there in Arlington against Auburn. Kelly goes in and he hasn't looked back. He asserted himself in such a big way that when Morrell came back, they said, hey, why don't you go to left field? It's one way to stake your territory.
3 balls, 1 strike. Sam Hunt on deck, and Kelly fouls it back. Castelaw's full count pitch. Line past third, and it's another multi-hit game for Parker Kelly.
PK got that one on the end, a little bit out in front of that breaker, but able to get enough of it to get it beyond the glove of Dodge over there at third and out into left field. So 2 for 4 day.
Parker Kelly now has 8 multiple hit games this season. Sam Hunt has a pair of multiple hit games this week, his first 2 college starts, and now he's hit by a pitch.
Dalton Porter's going to get a look right here. Porter had entered the game defensively the last half inning. We're going to get a mound visit. There is a right-hander working. The Lumberjack bullpen.
Johnny Cardenas, winningest coach in program history, year 14 for the ex-TCU and professional catcher. Trying to tell Castelaw, locate those pitches, keep it down, let your defense work behind you, or something like that.
Castelaw got wide out quickly, gave up the little line drive single to left, and then hits Sam Hunt. Coach Cardenas saw something that he would probably regard as a coaching point, whatever it is.
I was trying to read his lips the best I could.
I like it.
It looked like a lot of encouragement, though.
Yeah, I thought so.
So Dalton Porter, who took over for Easton Morrell in left field in the top of this 8th inning, will now get a chance to bat. His first plate appearance since the 19th at Iowa, as that right-hander continues to heat up in the SFA bullpen. Porter has 10 hits and 46 at-bats. Transfer from Texas, where he appeared in 17 games for the Longhorns last year. Porter had 19 plate appearances, 1 home run, 3 batted in, 263 average at Texas last year. Born in Austin, grew up in Leander. And he sends a high pop-up to the shallow outfield. Evangelista no longer in the game. It's Campbell who makes the catch. 2 outs.
Porter out in front of that one. Can of corn there. We actually had an infield fly too. Just before that ball was caught, once Campbell settled under it, he got the hand in the air from the umpire.
Doyle Suter, the veteran umpire, signaling that infield fly. See Doyle making it down for the finale of this homestand. He wasn't part of the crew last night, but Cole Stillwell. See if Stephen F. Austin pitching can figure him out. Been on 4 times. Red Raiders entered the week 3rd in the country in walks as a team. Mercer has the most collective base on balls in college baseball among Division I programs this season. Tech also top 30 in the country in on-base percentage, above 400. Here comes the 1-1 to Cole Stillwell. He rolls it to third, knocked down, long throw across, won't be in time. BJ Villarreal tried to get rid of it quickly after he smothered it on the left side of the infield, but Stillwell runs pretty well, and Cole Stillwell is on for a 5th time in this game. And that little hesitation may have cost Stephen F. Austin this inning's 3rd out.
It was a nice lunging stop, I thought, from Villarreal, but not able to come up with it cleanly. I would give it a single, if anyone's asking.
So Jace Young will bat with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Jace has been on twice, a double in the 5th, a walk in the 7th. Gus, it has been ruled an infield single.
And there you have it. Why not?
Cole Stillwell's 11th multi-hit game. 2 for 2 with 3 walks. 2 ball, no strike count to Jace Young. Off the outside, 3-0. Well, Jace Young is top 10 in walks nationally. And that's an RBI walk.
Now batting for the Red Raiders, number 7, Cody Masters.
Cody Masters will get a chance to bat in this game. Masters, the super senior. Just 2 at-bats this year, seeking his first hit. Both at-bats for Masters have come on this homestand as he's battled back from a non-COVID illness that caused him to lose a significant amount of weight. You kind of thought it would be tough for Masters to come back at all this season, but a couple months shy of the postseason, he's back in uniform and in action for Tim Tadlock's bunch. Started 25 games last season for the Red Raiders. And he sends a high fly ball, right center field, hit well, way back there. Grand slam! Cody Masters' first hit of the season. Nice moment for the 5th-year senior.
That's a big smile on his face. You described it, Chris. He has been through the ringer health-wise, really in all 5 of his years at Tech, but especially this year. It had nothing to do with elbows and knees and shoulders and stuff like that. It was a pretty serious illness, and good to see him have a moment. That looks like the Cody Masters we know and love.
You thought maybe the guy before him would unload, but Masters, after the walk to Jace Young, plops his first home run of the year into the netting. That protects that beautiful scoreboard in right center.
If he wants that souvenir, it's out there. Somebody go get it. That might actually be a pretty good base hit to get, a pretty good baseball to have right there.
I remember Masters launched a grand slam against Oklahoma last year. So not his first career Texas Tech grand slam. I mean, this guy is kind of an all or nothing hitter. At least he was last season. Hit below 200, but had the second best slugging percentage on the team behind Jace Young.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. Ryan Brome steps into the on-deck circle.
Loudon Brooks, no official at bat. Had the run-scoring sac fly his last time. Potential to become a reliable late-inning guy for Texas Tech. Although he's missed with the first few pitches he's thrown to the pinch hitter Martin Rodriguez. Jace Lopez from Brock, Texas. He went around, full count. Really important 5-game trip to keep this momentum going for Tech, Gus. 3 in Kansas, 2 against the WAC favorite Grand Canyon in Phoenix next week.
This ball fouled down the line. Parker Kelly gives it a long run, but yeah, when you think about this Kansas ball club and picked near the bottom of the league. Of course, the Red Raiders, actually both Kansas and Kansas State, picked near the bottom of the league. That's who the Red Raiders have the next 2 weekends. They'd like to stack up some W's.
And Rodriguez works the walk to start the 9th inning.
Won't be easy. It's never easy to win on the road. Big 12. Another pinch hitter here Number 38, Preston Dahlmeyer.
Pitch hitting for the Lumberjacks, number 38, Preston Dahlmeyer.
Both teams emptying out their benches late in this lopsided game. Dahlmeyer, a transfer from Ranger College. One at bat this season and picked up a hit in Houston against Rice back on the 15th. Still batting 1,000. First two have reached for Stephen F. Austin in the ninth.
Takes a fastball away and rips it into left field. Good looking swing there for a guy with just 2 at bats.
I think Johnny Cardenas might plug him in there this weekend when Tarleton comes to town. Why not?
Yeah, heck yeah, good looking left-handed swing there. Didn't try to do too much with a fastball away.
Red Raiders with a win in this one would move to 15-1 at this ballpark. That's kind of been a staple under Tim Tadlock, taking care of business at the Law.
Yeah, it really is. His best teams have been tough to beat here. And then what that does is just really set them up well, and they then host in the postseason, and they've won a whole lot more than they've lost here in terms of regional and super regional appearances against some pretty good opponents. It just serves them well.
Campbell takes outside.
Well, I don't know what was wrong with Chase Lopez that he didn't pitch for those 2 or 3 weeks, but feels like he's almost starting over out here right now.
Trying to find it. Issued the leadoff walk, then gave up the base hit. That catches the inside edge. Cal Campbell, sophomore from Cypress, Texas. 2 hits and 9 at bats. 1 double. And a full count. Scoots by Stillwell, allowing both runners to move up. Rather, that's Conley behind the plate now.
Yep, sure is.
Trevor Conley, we saw him take over late defensively last night. Freshman, another Mount Carmel, Ohio kid. That's where Loudon Brooks is from as well. Can that become a recruiting hotbed for this Tech program?
Well, if you go back, that's Becker. You could go back to Brustowski a couple years ago. Cal Conley. That's a bunch of kids out of that state of Ohio and northern Kentucky. Actually, Braden Runyon out of that same area was here on this ball club last year, now playing over at New Mexico. So there's a little bit of a network going. It served the Red Raiders well, and I think it served those players well for the most part. Brustowski and Cal Conley now playing pro baseball.
Into center field. Another hit. 1 run scores. Here comes another. It's a 2-run base hit off the bat of Cal Campbell, who drives in his first 2 runs of the season.
It's a good swing. It's a fastball down the heart of the plate. Hunt comes up throwing here, and he does a good job of getting it to the cutoff man, but we really need Hudson White to cut that off, because Campbell had started to second. He can cut it, throw Campbell out, and just take the air out of this inning. As it is, still nobody out, and another runner in scoring position. There's double-barreled action in the Tech bullpen. Jamie Hitt and Tyler Hamilton are the two warming.
The last thing Tim Tadlock wants to do is go to the bullpen again, but Lopez has yet to record an out. It's a good point you brought up, Gus. Long stretch in between appearances, Mississippi State and then Texas game over the weekend. You wonder if something has been bothering him. Fastball in tight, and that got a piece of him. Crawford hit by a pitch last night, kind of crowds the plate. Hit by a pitch again today. This has been Stephen F. Austin's best inning of the two-game series, down to their final 3 outs. Tim Tadlock really doesn't want to get up from that uncomfortable looking chair back seat. I mean, I've sat in so many of those. I mean, we like the ones with the cushions, right?
Yeah.
Ones that have some stuffing in them.
Coach Tadlock would like to see an atom ball right here, ground ball in the infield.
First pitch to Kyle Cullen misses. 1 for 4 day for Kyle Cullen. His 142nd game in a Lumberjack uniform. Lumberjacks have a long way home, 500 some odd miles to Nacogdoches. Get ready for a WAC series at home this weekend. Tarleton State, pretty new Division I program. Out in Stevenson. Stephenville. Billy Gillespie's the men's basketball coach there.
How about that?
Dixie State, California Baptist, a couple of other pretty new Division I programs in the Western Athletic Conference. Full count. Dixie State will change their university name this July to Utah Tech. So if you're wondering next year when you look at the WAC standings, who the heck's Utah Tech? Well, Dixie State of yesteryear after July.
The artist formerly known as Prince.
Popped up. Sam Hunt waiting for it to come down. That's the first out of the inning.
Can of corn.
Hey, hey.
And a runner tagging there at second. Hunt comes up firing, hits a cutoff man. He's looking for that double play ball.
And Lopez has really had to labor 25 pitches before recording the first out. Cheney Dodge. Now hit safely in 4 of his last 5 after a single in the 8th. Takes the breaking ball for strike 1. Texas Tech, just 1 day off in between games. Andrew Morris, the reigning Big 12 newcomer of the week, probably get the start on Friday. Pitched 6 innings of 1-run baseball against a very dangerous Longhorn lineup here on Friday. And how about Tech striking with a D2 transfer?
Second year in a row.
As the ace of the rotation again with Patrick Montverde last year and Andrew Morris this season.
Well, that's some recruiting people doing a job.
It's called mastering the portal. There's a drive to deep right center field and over the head of Washburn, up against the wall. Another run scores for Stephen F. Austin. Cheney Dodge. Kyle Colin, Cameron Crawford, the two guys on base, they can fly. And it's Crawford who tags and scores. But now Stephen F. Austin down to their final out.
Yeah, a pinch hitter. It's Scott Sanders. We saw him here last night.
Sanders, the Whitesboro, Texas native at a Hill Junior College. Still seeking his first hit as a Lumberjack. Gus, there are two Division I programs with the nickname Lumberjack. Can you name the other? They don't have baseball.
The other one doesn't have baseball?
No, but they're Division I in football, basketball.
Boy, I'd be inclined to think it's a northern school.
Ooh, right there. Northern Arizona.
Ah, okay, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Jamie hits nothing in 2. Pitch, strike 3.